You may think your love story is still far off, that your turn will come later. But what if I told you that your destiny is already in motion? That Allah has already chosen someone for you, and that you will soon walk through the door of a new home, a new life. This is no accident. This is no coincidence. It is a divine scripture preparing to unfold before you. And today, you will discover the signs, the emotions, and even the description of the person who awaits you. Have you ever felt, deep in your heart, that strange sensation that something immense is preparing for you, without you yet being able to explain it? Like an inner vibration, a shudder that runs through your soul and tells you your life will not remain as it is today. It's not imagination. It's not a simple thought. It's an invisible reality that your heart perceives even before your eyes see it. For Allah sometimes places presentiments in your soul, flashes of light to announce to you that your story is about to change. Perhaps you're still living in a routine that's suffocating you. The same walls, the same faces, the same habits that no longer reflect the person you're becoming. You sometimes feel stuck, as if your heart yearns for somewhere else, but your body remains trapped in the present moment. And despite this sensation, there's a certainty growing within you, discreet but persistent. Allah has already written the rest. A sequel that doesn't resemble your present, a sequel that opens a door you no longer expected. And in this destiny already mapped out for you, two gifts come together: a new home and a person chosen to walk by your side. But think for a moment, why do you sometimes feel this inner emptiness? Like a nostalgia for a place you've never yet set foot in? Why does your heart, despite the wounds, refuse to give in and continue to hope? It's because Allah created you with a soul that cannot bear to remain incomplete. You were shaped to love, to share, to build. And the time you spent alone wasn't forgetfulness. It was preparation. Every moment of solitude, every silent tear, every nighttime prayer was a brick you were laying, unknowingly, in the foundation of the home that awaits you. This house is not just a physical place. It is a spiritual space, a refuge where your soul can finally breathe. The walls will bear witness to your invocations. The rooms will echo with your laughter and that of your future partner. And the nights will be filled with a peaceful silence, different from that of solitude. You will be moving, yes, but this departure will not be a simple change of address. It will be a passage, an intimate rite between what you were and what you are becoming. And this person who is waiting for you, they are already on their way to you. Perhaps they too, at this very moment, feel this lack they don't know how to name. Perhaps they too are making invocations that they think are lost in the silence of the night, when in reality, they are already uniting with yours. You don't know it yet, but your paths are coming closer, inch by inch, day after day, under Allah's perfect orchestration. Don't you see? Your impatience, your questions, even your pain are not in vain. They are signs that something greater than yourself is brewing, like heavy clouds that announce rain. Your heart senses the approach of a blessing even before it falls upon you. And if you pay attention, you can already notice these micro-signals, situations that force you to let go of certain ties, relationships that are drifting away from you, projects that fail, not to punish you, but to free you from a burden, so that you are ready to welcome what is coming. For how could you enter a new home if you are still holding on to the keys to a place that no longer belongs to you? Sometimes, Allah prepares your union, not by adding things to your life, but by removing those that should no longer be there. You think you are losing, but in reality, you're making room. You think you're alone, but in truth, you're being led to someone who prayed for you without even knowing you. So ask yourself, Is it really a coincidence that you're hearing these words today? Is it a coincidence that your heart reacts, that your eyes seek an answer, that your soul feels that this message is speaking directly to it? Number: nothing is by chance when Allah decides to remind your soul of what awaits it. And soon, you will walk through a door you never imagined you would. And on the other side, you will no longer be alone. A new home, a new stage, and a person who hasn't come to fill a superficial void, but to accompany you on the path your Creator has always intended for you. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine. You're standing in front of a door. Your fingers touch the handle. It is cold, but behind it, you feel warmth, a life calling to you. You breathe deeply, your heart beating faster, because you know what you are about to cross is not just a material threshold. It is a transition of your soul. The door opens gently. You enter. Behind you, you leave the sound of old habits. The same footsteps repeated every morning. The same silent rooms every evening. The walls bearing witness to your solitary invocations. This place, as familiar as it may be, is no longer your shelter. It was once a stopover, but it was never meant to be your eternal refuge. And before you, a new space opens, a different home, not just in its shape or colors, but in the energy it exudes. You feel that this place was chosen for you, prepared to be filled with a breath you've never known. Every corner seems to await your imprint. Every room seems to call your name. You are no longer alone. In this space, there is another presence. Not loud, not overwhelming, but real, palpable. You hear a different voice resonate. A voice that doesn't extinguish your silence, but completes it. A voice that doesn't need to speak loudly to be heard in your heart. The meals you once ate in silence, they are now shared. A spoon placed next to yours. A simple smile that makes the act of eating a reminder of gratitude. These gestures that once seemed insignificant become sacred when experienced together. Your nights change too. You remember those evenings when you fell asleep talking to Allah, with tears as your only company. Today, another soul stands beside you. She doesn't replace your prayer. She accompanies it. She doesn't take Allah's place in your heart. She becomes a mirror that reflects the answer He has given you. This person is not a coincidence. She didn't enter your story by accident. She is the fruit of divine writing. For years, perhaps, your footsteps had drifted apart and drawn together without ever crossing. You were experiencing your trials. She was experiencing hers. You thought you were forgotten. She thought you were waiting in vain. But in Allah's plan, every detour, every delay, every prayer whispered in the shadows was a preparation for this exact moment. Look around you. This house isn't just walls and a roof. It's a sanctuary under construction. The walls will hold your secrets. The windows will let in the light of your hopes. The ground will carry your steps toward days you can't yet imagine. Even the air seems different, as if charged with a new tranquility, a silent promise. And this person, your partner, they're not perfect. They don't have to be. For their presence isn't there to fill all your flaws, but to gently reveal them, so that you can heal them with Allah at your side. Their qualities will be your comfort. Their flaws will be your reminder. And together, your imperfections will weave a strength you would never have had apart. Imagine a scene. One morning, you wake up, and the first glance you meet is no longer your empty ceiling, but eyes that carry the fatigue, the gentleness, and the sincerity of a person who now shares your journey. And nothing spectacular, nothing Hollywood, just the raw beauty of two souls united, two destinies linked, two hearts learning to beat as one. Remember, you didn't open this door. You simply answered the call. It was Allah who wrote the moment your feet would cross that threshold. It was He who orchestrated the meeting of two seemingly separate paths. And it was He who placed this person in your home, in your life, in your heart. So now, look at that image within you. Feel it. Savor the idea that what seemed so far away is perhaps already approaching. That the door you imagine is not an illusion, but a reality, awaiting its exact moment. And perhaps that moment is closer than you ever believed. Your heart prayed in secret. No one knows how many times you raised your hands in the darkness when everyone was asleep. No one knows how many silent tears flowed, invisible to the world, but visible to the one who hears even what your soul dares not utter. You didn't ask for riches. You didn't beg for illusions. You simply asked for someone. Someone who could listen to you without you having to find the right words. Someone who would look at your scars, not as flaws, but as proof of your survival. And what you may not know is that Allah heard every one of those prayers. Not one was wasted. Not one was rejected. They didn't find an immediate response, it's true, but they were stored, preserved, like treasures your Lord guarded for the exact moment. Because sometimes it's not a no you receive, it's a not yet. And this not yet is a mercy, because Allah refuses to grant you a blessing at a time when you're not ready to bear it. So you waited. You sometimes thought you were forgotten. You thought your prayers were wasted. But in reality, while you were asking, Allah was building. While you were crying, Allah was shaping. While you were doubting, Allah was preparing that person. Not only to meet your needs, but to arrive exactly when you needed them most. Imagine this scene. You're still on your knees, tired of praying for a heart that will accept you, and somewhere far away, that person is also praying. Perhaps with the same words, perhaps with the same tears. You don't know each other yet, but your prayers meet in heaven like two rivers that eventually intersect in the ocean of divine will. And one day, without you seeing it coming, Allah answers. Not with a voice, not with a sign written on the wall, but with an encounter. This encounter may not be spectacular. No lightning in the sky, no music in the air. Just a presence. A person whose mere existence soothes what 1,000 words have never managed to calm. A voice that resonates not in your ears, but in your soul. A gaze that doesn't search your scars to judge them, but gently brushes against them, as if to say, I understand them, I accept them, I honor them. And you realize that this person hasn't come to fill a void, but to share your journey. They haven't come to erase your past, but to walk with you despite it. She didn't come to save you, but to accompany you in the mission your Creator always intended for you. Perhaps this idea scares you. You've been hurt. You've experienced broken promises, judgmental glances, and abandoning hands. You've learned to protect yourself, to build walls around your heart. But the truth is that sometimes Allah sends someone who doesn't come to tear down your walls, but to sit patiently before them until you open them yourself. So imagine this presence. You come home one day, tired, worn down by the weight of the world, and without even speaking, she's there. Not to question you, not to judge you, but to be the reassuring silence you needed. As if Allah had sent a human soul to translate His response to your supplications. And the more you discover this person, the more you realize that this connection is not superficial. It's not just an emotional attachment, It's a completeness, as if your soul has always been waiting for this moment, as if a missing piece of your existence has finally been put back in its place. Not a perfect piece, not a shiny piece, but the exact piece, forged in the same flames as you, with the same cracks, but shaped to fit yours. And then you understand. Allah doesn't always answer with words, visions, or visible miracles. Sometimes, His answer is a person. A soul who becomes your earthly refuge, a living reminder that your Creator has heard you. And in that reminder, you discover something even deeper. It's not just your prayer that has been answered. It's your destiny that has been activated. What if I told you that this person already exists somewhere? That every moment of solitude you've experienced wasn't a moment of forgetfulness, but a strategic placement, orchestrated by the one who knows your heart better than you know yourself. That this face, this soul that will complete you, is already walking in a world where your prayers were not in vain? Do you realize what that means? Every tear you've shed in silence, every night spent begging, every moment you felt your pleas went unanswered, wasn't a failure. It was a silent search for the soul of the one who awaits you. Allah has crafted this person with the precision of a divine craftsman. Their strengths to complement yours, their weaknesses to mirror yours, reminding you that humanity is not measured by perfection, but by the patience and love we put into growing together. Do you sometimes think your wait is in vain? That all those years of solitude, all those dashed hopes, all those broken hearts were for nothing? What if I told you it wasn't waiting but preparation? A preparation you couldn't have imagined. Preparation for that face you haven't yet seen, for that soul you don't yet know, but whom your heart will instantly recognize the moment it meets them. Have you ever noticed those subtle signs in your life? The coincidences that seem too perfect to be chance? The encounters that weren't planned but changed you? The doors that close just before a bigger one opens? These are whispers from Allah, cues to prepare you for what your soul has been waiting for all your life. And what you call waiting is actually invisible training for this very moment. What if I asked you this question? Are you ready? Are you truly ready to welcome someone who will not only fill your daily life, but transform the way you live it? Because this isn't a superficial encounter. It isn't a simple sharing of time or space. It's an encounter that touches the very foundations of your existence, that will awaken your dormant prayers, your forgotten dreams, and that will remind you that everything you've been through had meaning. Imagine for a moment what that means. This person, with their own wounds, their own struggles, their own silent nights, has been shaped by Allah to stand exactly where you are, like a coin carefully crafted to fit perfectly within another. And yet, you haven't seen each other yet. Your souls haven't yet recognized each other. But their meeting is inevitable. Like the sun and the dawn, like the sea and the shore, you are destined to join. And now, ask yourself this other question. What did you do with your heart during this wait? Did you keep it closed for fear of suffering again? Or did you silently offer it to Allah, telling Him that you accepted His will, even if you didn't understand the paths you were taking? Because this preparation isn't just external. It works on your heart, your mind, your soul. Every tear, every disappointment, every shattered hope has polished your heart so that it can recognize and welcome what Allah has planned for you. What if I told you that the encounter you imagine is only the first step? That what you will see in His eyes, what you will hear in His words, what you will feel in His gestures, is an answer to everything you have asked for in secret? That every time you doubted, every time you thought your prayers were falling on deaf ears, they were simply preparing the ground for this unique moment, perfect in its simplicity and truth? So I ask you this last question for now. Are you capable of feeling what your heart has always been crying out for? Are you capable of perceiving the invisible presence of the one who is drawing closer to you even before your paths cross? Because that person exists. They have been carefully crafted. They are walking towards you, and the waiting, what you experienced as endless solitude, was only the prelude. Your soul knows. It recognizes. Even if your eyes have not yet seen it, your heart awaits it. And soon, what seemed impossible will become reality. But before that, you must feel. Every thrill, every doubt, every hope. Like a sign, like a divine whisper, guiding you step by step towards what you never dared to hope for. Imagine someone whose light doesn't dazzle, yet shines a light in the deepest darkness of your heart. It's not a light that shines from the outside, that attracts attention or demands attention. Number. It's a silent, gentle light, almost invisible to the world, but it warms your soul as soon as you encounter it. A light that doesn't force you to change, but shows you that even your scars can reflect something beautiful. His words are simple. Sometimes a word just at the exact moment your heart tightens. A calm breath amidst your inner storms. They don't seek to correct or instruct you. They settle like a fresh breeze after overwhelming heat, like a breeze that enters through a half-open window and blows away the dust of your worries. You might think it's insignificant, but each syllable has been placed by Allah to calm your doubts and nourish your hope. You may not notice him right away. He doesn't arrive with outbursts or spectacular gestures. His entrance is subtle, almost imperceptible to those who don't know how to observe with their hearts. But one day, that small gesture, that look, that simple attention will become your refuge. Like a safe harbor in a stormy sea, like a tree whose shade soothes the burning sun. His gestures aren't theatrical, but they carry the certainty that you no longer have to walk alone, that your prayers have not been in vain, that your nights spent hoping have been answered. There is a depth in his silence you've never known. It's not a cold or distant silence. It's a silence that speaks to your soul, a space where you can place your wounds without fear. The silence becomes a language unto itself. It says to you, I am here. I see your heart. I understand without needing you to speak. And for the first time, you feel the weight of loneliness begin to lift. You realize that the waiting, the tears, the sleepless nights, all had meaning. This silence whispers to you that you are not forgotten, that someone has been prepared for you, exactly as you dreamed. His hands, his gestures, even his breathing become a refuge. There is a rhythm to him, a subtle harmony that resonates with yours. As if Allah had sculpted two souls so that they could intertwine naturally, effortlessly, without external force. When he smiles, it's not just a movement of his lips. It's a reminder that the world can be gentle, that life can be sustained by mercy, that the trials you've gone through were not in vain. And his eyes, oh, his eyes. They don't seek to scrutinize or judge. They welcome. They listen. They see beyond your appearances, beyond your visible wounds, beyond your masks. And in that gaze, you discover a mirror of your soul, a reflection of who you truly are, with all your weaknesses and all your strengths. And you feel for the first time that someone can accept you unconditionally, just as you are. This person isn't perfect. They don't pretend to be. But in their imperfections, there is a beauty that you instinctively recognize. As if Allah had placed in their humanity the right balance for your souls to recognize and complement each other. They don't come to fill a superficial void. They don't come to correct your past. They come to walk beside you, to share your path, to transform every moment into proof that divine mercy exists and that it responds to those who are patient. You begin to understand that the true beauty of this presence lies not in what it does for you, but in what it reveals within you. She reminds you that you are capable of loving deeply, of forgiving, of feeling peace after the storms. And every moment you spend with this soul becomes a silent reminder that the waiting and the trials were not in vain. They were preparing your heart to receive what is already written in the divine plan. So imagine, one evening, you come home, tired from the weight of the world, and her eyes meet yours. And in this simple exchange, your entire past takes on meaning. Your struggles, your mistakes, your buried hopes, everything becomes a step that has led you here. And you realize that this isn't just an encounter between two people. It's a moment when the silent prayers of your heart find their translation into human reality. And in that moment, you understand that the love you had imagined, the soul you had sought in the emptiness of your nights, was not a dream. She is real. She is waiting for you, and you are finally ready to recognize it. You're leaving the place where you live. It's not just a place, it's memories, habits, landmarks that you've built brick by brick. And when you close that door behind you, a strange mixture of excitement and fear will invade you. Everything you thought was stable will become uncertain. Everything you thought you understood about your world will transform. And yet, it's not a loss. This departure isn't a goodbye. It's a transition. A milestone written long before you could even imagine it. Every step you take on this path has been guided by the one who knows your heart better than you do. Your partner, they're not perfect. You'll see. They'll have their flaws, their habits that will sometimes test you, their silences that will remind you of your own vulnerabilities. But look deeper. In every imperfection hides a mirror you never dared to look at. Their flaws will reflect back to you what you still don't know about yourself. What you buried beneath masks, beneath the fear of failure, beneath the solitude you thought necessary to protect yourself. And in this reflection, you will understand that your own flaws were not an obstacle but a preparation. That your humanity, in all its fragility, is capable of welcoming others, just as it will be welcomed. And their qualities. They will be like signs placed by Allah in your life. Constant reminders that your prayers have been heard. You will see patience, kindness, loyalty, and silent strength in their daily actions. And you will feel that this person was shaped for you to complete your soul where you didn't know it was incomplete. It is no accident that these qualities exist in their personality, just as it is no accident that your wounds exist in yours. Everything was orchestrated by an invisible, perfect hand, which writes our lives with precision, even when we doubt. Think of the nights you prayed alone, when your hands trembled, when your heart grew heavy with the weight of waiting. Now imagine that this presence is there to bear some of that weight, not to erase it, not to make everything easier, but to walk with you through every trial, every uncertainty, every storm. And in this walk you will discover that what you called solitude was actually preparation. That every failure, every disappointment, every moment of emptiness had been a learning experience to welcome what awaits you. You will also notice the little things. The details you never took the time to notice. A smile at the perfect moment, a hand held out without a word, a thoughtful gesture that speaks louder than 1,000 words. And it is these details that will make you understand that love, the kind written by Allah, cannot be measured by perfection, fireworks, or grand, spectacular gestures. It is measured in consistency, in sincerity, in the ability of one soul to stand before another despite flaws and mistakes. And sometimes, you will be confronted with fear. The fear that you are not enough, that the other is not the one you expected, that the path is more complicated than you imagined. But what you will feel then is not a coincidence. It is the confirmation that everything is real, that this encounter is not a dream, that the destiny you thought distant is now tangible, but that it requires your commitment, your courage, and your faith. Because understanding this person, walking alongside them, is understanding that divine love also manifests itself in the concrete. That the union you have imagined is more than a romantic story. It is a spiritual school. Every disagreement, every moment of doubt, every shared silence will remind you of patience, forgiveness, and trust in the one who orchestrated your lives. And you will see that it is not only your partner who is teaching you, but that you too are becoming a living reminder of divine mercy and guidance. So feel it. Feel the tension rising in your heart. This mixture of fear and excitement. This awareness that you are about to enter a stage where nothing will be the same again, where every moment will be charged with new meaning. You haven't understood everything yet. You haven't seen everything yet. But every breath, every look, every shared silence will be a further step toward a truth your soul already recognizes. And it is in this precise moment, between departure and encounter, between fear and faith, that you will begin to understand the depth of what it means to be chosen. That this person, with all their imperfections and all their qualities, is more than a companion. They are the living reflection of the answer your heart has always been seeking. This marriage, this departure, this meeting, it's all part of a plan greater than yourself. If you felt your heart beat faster as you listened to these words, it means that Allah may already be opening the way for you. Don't keep this reminder to yourself. Share it with those who are also waiting for their sign. And if you want to continue exploring how Allah prepares our lives, subscribe, leave a like, and tell me in the comments, I am ready to accept what God has written for me.